Hey there, and welcome to Hot Seat. And we are here to explore the reasons of why. What's the why? What's the purpose? What drives business owners to do what they do? I'm your host, Kelvin Holiday, and I am enjoying the fact that we can explore people's why and motivate others. So stay tuned for this exciting new episode. 15 minutes, fast paced. Let's do it. Well, hi, folks. Welcome again to Hot Seat. Another great episode coming up here with an absolute legend, a guy I've known for many, many years. We originally connected through a group called BX Networking. And Darren, wow, you'll hear his voice. He's just got this podcasting voice from heaven. And he's been around this space for a long time, and he's really got a lot of value to add to those people who are thinking about podcasting as well. But we're going to be talking about his wife. So Darren, come on into the hot seat, buddy.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.
Mate, it is good. And as I said, folks, you listen to that voice. It is just this voice from heaven. He's got all the stuff. He's got it all, mate. So we've known each other for a little while, but in some respects, we've always talked to each other in a business setting. So I want to get into who's Darren? Like, where do you hail from, family-wise, living? Just tell us a bit about yourself, mate.
Sure. So look, I'm 52, born and bred in Sydney, Australia. Done lots of traveling, but I love Australia. I still call Australia home. Live in Sydney. Done all sorts of different things, and I continue to do a variety of different things in my workplace. But one of those things is doing a lot of work around the podcasting space, which I'm very passionate about for many reasons. But me as a person, I just love variety. I love doing new things. I like challenging myself. I like being curious. I'm not scared to fail. I'm not scared to try stuff. And I love people, and I love to get to know people and learn, and just, life's about growth and about going on that journey and hopefully learning some stuff along the way. So that's my philosophy, really, in terms of what I do.
Mate, and it always comes out. Like, folks, if you're listening here on the podcast, let me just say he's always got this beaming smile. Right? Always got the chuckle. So, mate, as I said, so podcasting, you like to do a lot of things, all right, which is cool, and not be trapped in sort of stuff. But when you're doing a lot of things, sometimes you go, oh, geez, which one am I going to do now? So when you get into that space, you get maybe a bit of conflict internally, or you go, I'm chasing too many rabbits here. Yeah. What are some of the strategies? What are some of the things that you go through your mind at that stage?
Yeah, like I've kind of been reflecting on this for many, many years, because I've started adding extra things and extra services to what I do. And a lot of people say, oh, you're doing too many things. Or I even ask myself, am I doing too much? Should I just concentrate on one or two things? And, I'd probably make more money if I just did one thing. But then again, I've realized that I do like the variety, and the variety is what keeps me going. Like, jumping on a show like this for 15 minutes gives me a different mindset. It gives me a different inspiration. It gives me a different avenue for creativity that I can now take to the rest of my day in another area. So I think doing lots of things can allow you to be even better at what you do in other areas, and you can draw from certain areas to other areas. So I don't think it's always a bad thing to do lots of things, but I think you do have to be organized. That's the one thing that I would say. You have to have your stuff organized. You have to have your systems down pat, because otherwise jumping from one to another can drain a lot of energy mentally. And if you can't compartmentalize easy and move from one thing to another because you've organized yourself, it can be a lot of wasted time and a lot of wasted energy. So, I think variety is great. It's charging, it's challenging, it's fun, but you've got to be super systemized and organized as well.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing there, and a lot of us will know, like things like time blocking, like you're not actually doing 10 things at the same time. You're doing things that motivate you. You're doing things that re-energize you, but you're not trying to do 10 things at the same time.
No. Because you can't do a good job of doing 10 things at the same time. You can't.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And so what you said there, systemization, having a system for it, like a calendar or something like that. You go, everything goes into the calendar. You can see what you're supposed to be doing. You can, get your head in the right space for every individual part. rather than trying to go, oh, I think you'd agree, Darren, that in business, a lot of business owners go, you always got to be available. So, you know, with all the communication, you got email, you got WhatsApp, you got the
Yep.
phone, you got all these different channels, and people just make themselves so readily available
Yep.
that they can't, they just get totally confused what's
Yeah.
happening.
And it's almost like in that respect, everybody else and everything is controlling you rather than you controlling it. And
Yeah.
you have to be able to run your business while you're in control. So of course you have to be available to a degree, but you can't just be at the mercy of every bit of communication 24/7. You just run yourself ragged.
Yeah. What a great value, mate. So maybe you want to share with us. So when you talk about managing yourself and the systems, what is there anything like a couple of key things that you
Yeah,
do on
sure.
a daily basis? You got a schedule, or how
There
do you
is.
do it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to say it all started probably about 5, 6 years ago when there was just more and more things to do, I felt, and I had to get up earlier. So one of my things now has become one of my mantras is 7 days a week because I do some work on the weekends in different areas as well. But it just made it easier for me to get up at 5:30 every single morning. And I'm fresh, I'm energized, it's quiet, there's no distractions. And I'm jumping into a whole series of things that I do every single morning, the same things. And that's what I call working on my business rather
Yes.
than in my business. So I kind of set myself up in the first couple of hours. I do my marketing, I check the bank, I plan my day. Even I look at my calendar and I write down on my pad, all right, bang, 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 bang. So I'm planning and organizing. And then once, say, 8, 9 o'clock hits, I feel in control. I've covered a lot of the stuff I have to do. And then I start working in the business and I can react more because all the stuff that have to be planned is already planned and executed and done. And I'm emailed people stuff that I'm waiting on responses for. So I'm jumping ahead of the day. So that's been a huge thing. That's been one of my biggest things is getting up early and being organized, getting stuff out there that you can then wait for responses to come back. And you don't have to be doing that while you're doing other things later on. So that's
Yeah.
definitely number one. And number two would just be how I work. And I work still in a very antiquated way. Like I have lots of folders within folders within folders on my Outlook, but it allows me to access them really quickly from my computer or my phone. So
Mm.
I've just set up my life in a very simple way using folders and using email distribution lists and notepads and all sorts of things like that. But it's very digital, but it's not using any whiz bang tool. So that's really helped me a lot as well. And then, of course, using automation where it's needed. Like I don't want to go overboard with automation, but certainly there are lots of areas where automation can really help you. And I use those where I can as well.
Yeah, good. So really good tips there, folks. Like keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it something that suits you and your business style. I think that's where. I definitely see it a lot, within my business. I talk to business owners and they're going, "Oh, this person told me to get this tool, and this person told me to get that tool," and
Yeah.
and so you end up with this toolkit of so many stuff, and now you just always just confuse yourself.
Yeah.
So just know who you are, and build the business around your personality and
Love that.
your own way of thinking. All right, because if you're doing it around somebody else's,
Yep.
you know,
I love it.
you can get yourself in strife, mate. That is a bit of gold. So, hail from Sydney. I like to do a bit of traveling. Tell us some of the traveling you've done. Are you doing it,
Oh,
just with yourself and family or friends, or
yeah. So
what's it?
I way back, I did lots of traveling. I traveled all around the world with friends, backpacking. I also did some
Mm,
stuff on my own. I met people along the way. I went to
mm,
Europe. I went to the Middle East. I went to America. Went to Asia. Uh, I've been to South Africa. I've been to South America. So I've done lots of traveling, but there's still lots of places to go. And I
mm.
just love traveling. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. I love just sitting in a coffee shop more so than doing a tour. You just get me in a coffee shop in the piazza and just let me just relax and observe the world around me and have fun and chat if I can. And that's how I really get absorbed in the culture and I can understand who the people are in the place. So I love that. That's a lot of fun.
Oh yes, mate. I am with you, mate. Yeah, there is people watchers.
People
You,
watching.
you
Love it.
watch the culture walk past you,
Yep.
and as you know, I'm in Thailand, and it's just like you just sit here and you go to they call them a mukata here. They're
Yeah.
like a barbecue, and you sit there, and all these people are coming through, and you're
Nice.
eating there. You might be eating there for a couple of hours, and
Yeah.
there's hundreds of people come through, and you just see the culture walk by,
Definitely. I
and
mean, the
all the
best way
different
to
things.
experience the culture is just to
And,
be in it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and all, there's a lot of nice places. Like you can get, you say about the piazza, you can go to different places and see the different structures
Yep.
and all the wonders of the world. But still, the reality is that it's the culture, it's the people that make the country, not the
So true.
artifacts.
So true.
Yeah.
And they always seem to revolve around food as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. Food and coffee. And I will
Yeah.
say, hot tip here for everybody. If you ever come to Thailand, you've got to come to right up to the northern part of Thailand and go to the Doi Shan Mountains.
Oh,
If mate, and Darren, if you're a coffee lover, mate, that is the place to go.
okay. I'm going to check that out.
It is some of the best coffee in the world I've ever
Wow.
tasted.
Love it.
It is pretty hot, mate. It is very, very, very good. So,
Amazing.
mate, so you've done all this traveling and you're doing the podcast and everything. So, like you do the podcast. What are some of the other things? You say you do a lot of different things. So you're doing the
Yeah. So,
podcast sort of stuff.
so I started off my career, I've been working for the most part of my career in IT recruitment. So I'm still an IT recruiter. I do a
Mhm.
lot of work. I've been working in recruitment for about 24 years now. And then podcasting and photography and marketing, using those type of marketing tools has kind of been my other little side hustle for the last 10, 12 years or so.
Yeah.
And so I juggle all those together, and they cross fertilize each other, because what I've learned in marketing and photography and podcasting has helped me so much in my recruitment business and vice versa. So, that's why I think there's a lot to be said about doing a few different things if you can just manage it properly.
Yeah, and also making sure that they make sense to one another.
Yep, that's right.
There's no use going off in different tangents. So
Yeah.
you mentioned something there, and something just before the episode we started. We talked about the amount of marketing techniques that are around out there these days,
Mhm.
and there's so many of them around. People are talking about all the different social media ads and organic or paid ads or whatever it might be, but you've got a very unique sort of perspective, and people are trying to get cut through. They're trying to get people to come to their service, and you use podcast, and you start to get in that space, and I'd love to get you back and have a talk, in our tool time episodes about how to build a podcast. But what are some of your insights? With the podcasting side, you've been doing it for a long time. You're one of the gurus that I've been watching evolve, and very much modeled my own hot seat here upon what you do and how you do it. So, what's some insights that you can tell the people today about, why podcasting? What's the unique beast about that?
Indeed. Excuse me. Excuse me. Indeed. Like, I think these days, marketing is becoming more and more challenging. Everybody is joining the marketing bandwagon. Everybody is on social media. Everybody's trying to find ways to market their business. Excuse my throat. And if you jump on social media, more and more these days, all I'm seeing is people with their videos talking at me. They're just
Yes,
talking at me, constantly talking at me, promoting something, selling something. And it's almost like, leave me alone. Next, leave me alone. Next. Like, it's just like this aggressive
yes,
push to constantly be in my face, to get their message across, whatever that might be. So what I love about podcasting is it's much more passive. If I'm if I'm in a conversation with you, and I might not even be looking right at the camera, I might be looking to the side, or you might be able to cut that a few different ways visually. But it's so much more engaging and more inviting than if I'm just there by myself talking at you, trying to grab you. It's almost like if I'm talking about something, or I'm in a conversation with somebody, I'm inviting you in rather than pushing
yes,
you away. And that's why I love podcasting, because if you can do podcasting well and use a video, if you can, which is really important, you can extract all this incredible marketing material that you can then leverage to the cows come home in your social media and your other marketing strategies, your newsletters, your email signatures, whatever it is that you do. but that is the basis of all your marketing collateral. They all come from your podcast. And if you just learn to strip it, or even get a VA or some other company to strip it for you, you can then extract all this great marketing material and leverage it from every episode. And now you have some quality marketing material. Instead of just pushing people away, you can invite them in. And that's why I love podcasting, because it's becoming more and more powerful every day.
Mate, couldn't agree more. And I think, yes, both that. Yeah, I call it sideways conversation. I know as a bloke, we can be pretty emotionless and all that type of stuff. But where do we get the best relationships? We get the best relationship, sitting beside each other. Might be in a tool shed or in the backyard, at a barbecue, at the pub. You're having these like sideways conversations, but you can get into some quite deep stuff without feeling intimidated. And
Definitely.
that's what a podcast does, and that's why I love it as well, mate. It's very, very relational, and it really can help people to understand who you are. All right, which is really the heart and soul of Hot Seat and everything as well. Is why do you do what you do, and who are you? Who's Darren? And I think, folks, we've actually heard a lot today of who is Darren. He's an awesome bloke. And Darren, I'm going to ask you now, mate, what is your one hot tip when people are maybe struggling a little bit? They're struggling in life. The business is getting them down. They might be trying to juggle too many things. You've given us some good tips, but what's your one hot tip for the day?
I'm going to give you two.
Mate, go for it.
Because I like to be different. But number one, and they kind of flow together in a way. Number one, don't be scared to just jump in and try stuff. Don't be scared to jump in, try and fail if you have to. Doesn't matter. And number two would be curious. They kind of fit together. Challenge, think, be curious. Don't just do things always because everybody's always done it the same way and you're just stuck in a rut. You're stuck doing the status quo. Try and think outside the box, challenge yourself, challenge other people, and just have some fun. And don't be worried if it all falls on its face. You might be pleasantly surprised, and the lessons that you're going to learn along the way, regardless, are invaluable. So those are my two tips, I'd say.
Mate, awesome. So, folks, that has been Darren Saul, legend, podcast guru, and he's really given us some really good stuff to really think about today, and I'm sure you'll see him back again on Tool Time very, very shortly. So,
You're
Darren,
too kind, mate. You're too kind.
Thanks for being here on Hot Seat. Folks, that's a wrap for another episode. We'll see you all again real, real soon. See you, boys.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us here at Hot Seat. It's been an amazing, amazing event. It is a place where you can actually enjoy and be inspired by the why of others, the drive of the purpose and the passion. Please like and share this podcast with as many people as you can to inspire them to make a difference in this world. Have an awesome day. Unleash.